कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
जय श्री
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
चैतन्य
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु नित्यानंद
प्रभु नित्यानंदा
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद
श्रीवास आदि गौड़ भक्त वृंदा
जय हरिनाम कीर्तन की जय.
जय.
So today we're going to see Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 chapter 7 verse 53 and 54. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
Tato Jayamudirayet
ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
नित्यं भागवत सेवया.
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
भगवते उत्तम श्लोके
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 chapter 7 verse 53 and 54. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्री भगवान उवाच
Brahma Bandhurna Hantavya
ब्रह्म बंधुर्न हन्तव्य
Athathai Vadarhana
आतथायि वधारणा.
Mayaivo Bhayam Amnatam
मयि वो भयम् अम्नातं
Paripahyanushashanam
परिपाहि अनुशासनम्.
Kuru Pratishrutham Satyam
सुप्रतिश्रुतं सत्यम्
Yat tat santvayatha priyam
यत् तत् संस्वता प्रियम्.
priyam cha bhimasenasya
प्रियं च भीमसेनस्य
panchalya mahyam eva cha.
पञ्चाल्यमह्यम् एव च.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्री भगवान उवाच
Brahma Bandhurna Hantavya
ब्रह्म बंधुर्न हन्तव्य
Athathai Vadarhana
आततायि वधारणा.
Mayaivo Bhayam Amnatam
मयि वो भयम् आम्नातं
Paripahi Anushasanam
परिपाहि अनुशासनम्.
Kuru Pratishrutham Satyam
कुरु प्रतिश्रुतं सत्यम्
Yattat Santvayatha Priyam.
यत् तत् सान्त्वता प्रियम्.
Priyam cha Bhimasenasya
प्रियं च भीमसेनस्य
Panchalya Mahyam Evacha.
Panchalya Mahyam Evacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Brahma Bandhurna Hantavya.
Brahma Bandhurna Hantavya.
Atatayi Vadarhana.
Atatayi Vadharana.
Mayayvobhya Vayam Amnatam.
Mayevobhyam Amnatam.
Paripahi Anushasanam.
Paripahi Anusashanam.
Kuru Pratisrutham Satyam.
Kuru Prati Srutam Satyam.
Yattat Santvayatha Priyam.
Yattat Santvat Yatha Priyam.
Priyam cha Bhimasenasya.
Priyam cha Bhima Senasya.
Panchalya Mahyam Evacha.
Panchalya Mahyam Evacha.
Translation purport by the Divine Grace of Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Synonym: Sri Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead.
Sri Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead.
Uvacha said.
Uvacha said.
Brahma Bandhu, the relative of a Brahmana.
Brahma Bandhu, the relative of a Brahmana.
No, not.
No, not.
Hantavya, to be killed.
Hantavya, to be killed.
Atatayi, the aggressor.
Atatayi, the aggressor.
Vadarhana is due to be killed.
Vadharana is due to be killed.
Maya, by me.
Maya, by me.
Eva, certainly.
Eva, certainly.
Ubhayam, both.
Ubhayam, both.
Ubhayam, both.
Amnatham, described according to rulings of authority.
Amnatham, described according to rulings of this authority.
Paripahi, carry out.
Paripahi, carry out.
Anushasanam, rulings.
Anusashanam, rulings.
Kuru, abide by.
Kuru, abide by.
Pratishrutham, as promised by.
Pratishrutam, as promised by.
Satyam, truth.
Satyam, truth.
Yat tat, that which.
Yat tat, that which.
Santvayatha, while pacifying.
Santvayatha, while pacifying.
Priyam, dear wife.
Priyam, dear wife.
Priyam, satisfaction.
Priyam, satisfaction.
Cha, also.
Cha, also.
Bhimasenasya, of Sri Bhimasena.
Bhimasenasya, of Sri Bhimasena.
Panchalya, of Draupadi.
Panchalya, of Draupadi.
Mahyam, unto me also.
Mahyam, unto me also.
Eva, certainly.
Eva, certainly.
Cha, and.
Cha, and.
Translation, please repeat after me. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna said.
The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna said.
A friend of a Brahmana is not to be killed.
A friend of a Brahmana is not to be killed.
But if he is an aggressor, he must be killed.
But if he is an aggressor, he must be killed.
All these rulings are in the scriptures.
All these rulings are in the scriptures.
And you should act accordingly.
And you should act accordingly.
You have to fulfill your promise to your wife.
You have to fulfill your promise to your wife.
And you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimasena and me.
And you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimasena and me.
Purport.
Purport. Arjuna was perplexed because Ashwathama was to be killed as well as spared according to different scriptures cited by different persons. As a Brahma Bandhu or a worthless son of a Brahmana, Ashwathama was not to be killed, but he was at the same time an aggressor also. And according to the rulings of Manu, an aggressor, even though he be a Brahmana, and what to speak of an unworthy son of a Brahmana, is to be killed. Dronacharya was certainly a Brahmana in the true sense of the term, but because he stood in the battlefield, he was killed. But although Ashwathama was an aggressor, he stood without any fighting weapons. The ruling is that an aggressor, when he is without weapon or chariot, cannot be killed. All these were certainly perplexities. Besides that, Arjuna had to keep the promise he had made before Draupadi just to pacify her. And he also had to satisfy both Bhima and Krishna, who advised killing him. This dilemma was present before Arjuna, and the solution was awarded by Krishna.
मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताक स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो आचार्यपदाय निताय कृपप्रदायिने गौरकथा दामधाय नगर ग्राम तारिणे। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रसाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 हराय नाम कृष्ण यादवाय नाम हरे गोपाल गोविंद राम श्रीमधुसूदनाम। मुकाम करो दिवाचालम पंगुलंगायते गिरिमत् कृपातमां वंदे श्री गुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानंद माधवम श्री चैतन्यमीश्वरम। हरि ओम तत्सत। So this is a very beautiful verse that Lord Sri Krishna is reminding Arjuna of his position, the decision that is going to make. The spiritual master gives him hint of what he should do in this particular verse. Yeah, gentle disciple would understand what is the intention of his spiritual master and what is asking him to do, and he will perform accordingly. So here Krishna is telling a friend of a Brahmana is not to be killed. This is second time Krishna is telling. Okay, earlier also Krishna said about the Shastric injunctions, and when Arjuna caught hold of Ashwathama, and there itself Krishna told him kill him immediately. But Arjuna on the other hand did not do so, which has pleased Krishna so much that now Krishna trusts fully Arjuna that he knows how to perform activity according to the Vedic injunctions. At the same time, not to displease anybody. Okay, and here is a person who has displeased his own master standing as a culprit in front of Arjuna. And Arjuna is another person who has pleased not only his master, but everyone around is going to please by the act that is going to perform. This is called one who has the bona fide spiritual master's activity, is always successful in life. Every decision they make, that will be very successful if they are making the decision by asking a question. Will this decision please my master, my spiritual master? If the answer is yes, they will perform it. And if the answer is no, they will not perform. Whatever big amount of asset may come or whatever name, fame, glory may await them if they perform it. So Krishna is giving indication that a friend of Brahmana is not to be killed. At the same time, aggressors must be killed, but he is also clearly, boldly declaring that he is an aggressor. Okay, he is not just speaking without any touching or giving hint. He is not telling, okay, aggressors are to be killed. No, he said he is an aggressor and he must be killed. Clear like sunlight. This is the instruction of spiritual master. It will be very clear like sunlight. So all these rulings are in the scriptures. He also says, so whatever is there in the scriptures, these are all the things. And you should act accordingly. So which means you should not violate any rules and regulation of the scripture, Arjuna, because you are my friend and you are my devotee. So you cannot let your master down by your act. This is the responsibility of the every disciple, that he should never let down his spiritual master through his act or speech. His words, his thoughts, and his acts must be so in line with the spiritual master that anywhere he alone performs acts or speeches, it should not let his spiritual master down at any cost. For a bona fide disciple represents his spiritual master all the time, just like a bona fide spiritual master represents Lord Krishna all the time. So the bona fide spiritual master has never ever let Krishna down, either through his activities or through his speech. Similarly, a bona fide disciple should never let his spiritual master down through his decisions, through his words, through his thoughts, or through his acts. So here, Lord Krishna is boldly leaving Arjuna publicly, because Krishna knows Arjuna is my disciple, my friend, so he will not act in a wrong way. So he says, you have to fulfill your promise to your wife, because when Draupadi was lamenting at the time, Arjuna has told, don't worry, I will behead that particular culprit and bring the head here. After that, you stand on his head and then you pay. This is what Arjuna has promised to his wife. So he says, you have given promise to your wife, in order to pacify her. But you gave a promise, just like Bhishma, he just gives promise in order to pacify his father or whatever, situation. Similarly, Arjuna has also promised to Draupadi to pacify her. And you must also act according to Bhimasena. Now, Bhimasena is against Draupadi's decision, okay? And I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so I like if you perform according to Vedic injunctions, like the aggressor must be killed, okay? So at the same time, a Brahmana should not be punished, so many things. So you have to, please me, please Bhimasena, and please Draupadi. Bhimasena and Draupadi are perfectly contradicting each other's decision in this scenario. So very beautifully, Krishna is giving hint. So according to the instruction of Krishna, Arjuna has understood clearly that though he was perplexed, because Ashwatthama was to be killed also, and he was to be spared also. So he is just deliberating on the hints given by Krishna as to what act he should perform. So Brahma Bandhu means, first of all, he is not a Brahmana. Okay, he is a worthless son of a Brahmana. So Ashwatthama was not to be killed, because worthless son of Brahmana or Stri or children, they are not to be killed. So what to do? But he was at the same time an aggressor. So aggressor must be killed. This is Sastric injunction. Okay. And that is Manu Samhita. So Manu Samhita says that aggressor should be killed. And even though if he is a Brahmana, the aggressor must be killed. That is Manu Samhita's statement. So he is unworthy son of Brahmana. Even a Brahmana should be killed if he is an aggressor. Then what to speak of an unworthy son of Brahmana? He must be killed because he is an aggressor. This is Manu Samhita. Okay. However, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Manu is a subordinate to Krishna, is a representative of Krishna in the ruling aspect, because he says, Krishna says, I am Manu. So Dronacharya, he was perfectly a Brahmana only. He was not a Kshatriya. He was not a Brahma Bandhu. He was a perfect Brahmana. Even though he was a Brahmana, he was killed. He was killed. Because he stood in the battlefield, he was killed. But Ashwatthama, he was an aggressor. Why he should not be killed? But he should, without any fighting weapons. Nevertheless, he is not acting as Kshatriya. So the ruling is that any aggressor, when he is without weapon or chariot, cannot be killed. That is also a rule. So this brings in around a confusion, or not confusion, perplexities. So Arjuna has to deliberate. Guru's instruction is not so easy to understand if one is not fully surrendered. Okay, so Arjuna had to keep the promise that he has made to Draupadi. He has to please Krishna. He has to please Bhimasena, who wants to see that Ashwatthama is killed. What to do? And so this dilemma was present before Arjuna by Krishna, and solution was also awarded by Krishna. So he gave the beautiful hint. Shantha Gopi, you want to add anything, or we can proceed to the next verse?
You can proceed to the next.
Okay.
Hari
So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 55. Suta uvacha
Suta uvacha
Arjuna sahasajnaya
Arjuna sahasrajanya
Harer hardham atasina Manim jahara murdhanyam
Manim jahara murdhanyam
Vijasya saha murdhacham
saha murdhanam
Suta uvacha
Suta uvacha
Arjuna sahasajnaya
Arjuna sahasrajanya
Harer hardham atasina
Harer hardam athasina
Manim jahara murdhanyam
Manim jahara murdhanyam
Vijasya saha murdhacham
Vijasya saha murdhajam
Suta uvacha
Suta
Suta uvacha
Arjuna sahasajnaya
Arjuna sahasrajanya
Harer hardam atasina
Harer hardam
hardam
atasina
athasina
Manim jahara murdanyam
Manim jahara
jahara
murdhanyam
murdhanyam
Vijasya sahamurdajam
Vijasya saha
Vijasya saha
murdhajam.
murdhajam.
Translation and purport by Stephen Gracella by Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Synonyms.
Yeah.
Suta Goswami.
Suta Goswami
Uvacha said.
Uvacha said
Arjuna
Arjuna
Sahasa just at the time.
Sahasa just at that time
Ajnaya knowing it.
Anaya knowing it
Hare of the Lord.
Hare of the Lord
Hardham motive.
Hardham motive
Atha thus.
thus
Asina by the sword.
Asina by the sword
Manim the jewel.
Manim the jewel
The hara separated.
Sahara separated
Murdanyam on the head.
Murdhanyam on the head
Vijasya of the twice born.
Vijasya of the twice born
Saha with
Saha with
Murdhajam hairs.
Murdhajam hairs.
Translation, please repeat after me. Suta Goswami said.
Suta Goswami said.
Just then, Arjuna could understand the motive of the Lord.
Just then, Arjuna could understand the motive of the Lord
By his equivocal orders.
by his equivocal orders.
And thus with his sword,
And thus with his sword,
he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama.
he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama.
Purport.
Contradictory orders of different persons are impossible to carry out. Therefore, a compromise was selected by Arjuna by his sharp intelligence, and he separated the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. This was as good as cutting off his head, and yet his life was saved for all practical purposes. Here Ashwatthama is indicated as twice born. Certainly, he was twice born, but He fell down from his position and therefore he was properly punished.
Hari Om Tat Sat. So this is a very beautiful action by Arjuna, because Krishna has given him equivocal orders very clearly. When spiritual master give instruction, it's very clear to his surrendered disciple, and the disciple exactly knows how to act based on that particular instruction. So here Arjuna is so perfect that he was able to carry out the instructions, because when there are contradictory instruction by the same person is really very complicated. But two different person, it can be very easily managed. For example, when Narad Muni was advising Priyavrata to take up sannyas, and Brahma was Priyavrata's father want Priyavrata to the Manu want Priyavrata to take over the kingdom. But the Narad Muni's association and Narad Muni's preaching has made Priyavrata with a brahmachari mentality. And so he didn't like to do that. And he didn't want to act against his father. Nevertheless, because his father was equally a pure devotee who has seen personally the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. So he is not an ordinary either. So he was debating between his father's compulsion against Narad Muni's instruction, who is a spiritual master. And Priyavrata knows very clearly that he has to accept ultimately the order of spiritual master only for his father, though he is a very enlivened soul, but he is, as a father to his son, he is handing over the property. So Priyavrata was very perplexed, and there were contradictory orders given from the father and from the spiritual master. So he was confused. So his father has to find a way. So his father went all the way to his spiritual master, who is Brahma. Brahma is both father as well as the spiritual master of the Swayambhuva Manu. So he went him, and then Brahma himself came to meet Narad Muni as well as this Priyavrata at the Mandara hill. So it was a very beautiful meeting, and there not only Brahma has made Priyavrata accept the kingdom, but also he saw to that Narad Muni nevertheless is not at all wrong. So he was able to pacify both Narad Muni that his instruction is correct, as well as that Swayambhuva Manu's order is also correct, and Priyavrata has to act accordingly. So he not to be confused. So after all, there was another spiritual master too. The spiritual master was present there. So two different persons gave contradictory order. So he needed a third person who is another spiritual master to, make things clear and make the decision correct. So making decision in life is not very easy. Even multiple spiritual masters are required sometimes to make even the decisions in the material life, because they are very careful about the soul, at the same time very careful about the administration of Krishna. So here there is a little different situation Arjuna is facing here. Here there are not two persons giving contradictory thing. Here the same person is giving contradictory instruction. Krishna, the spiritual master himself, is giving, okay, you should kill, you should not kill. Sometimes Guru Maharaj used to ask, are you Dukhi? Are you Sukhi? Dukhi, Sukhi, Dukhi, Sukhi, Sukhi, Dukhi. He will make it so confused that he will say, I'm Sukhi. No, I'm Dukhi. You just don't know what to say. As a soul, you may be Sukhi. As a body, are you Dukhi? So it's a very, this thing. So like that, they play around with their disciples, whom are very dear, affectionate to spiritual master. So here, Krishna has very affectionate disciple Arjuna, who is very dear to Krishna, very dear to Krishna, that Krishna is ready to do anything for Arjuna. To that extent, they have very affectionate love and tie. So Krishna is giving. Externally, it may seem to be very contradictory instruction that as an aggressor, he should be killed. At the same time, a Brahmana should not be killed, but he is not a Brahmana. He is a Brahma Bandhu. At the same time, he doesn't have any weapon in his hand. Even an aggressor doesn't have a weapon in his hand, should not be killed as per the Manu Samhita. So many things, So he placed Arjuna in such a situation that nobody else in that scenario other than two persons who knows what to do. And the two persons are, one is Krishna and another is Arjuna. And exactly Arjuna did what Krishna want Arjuna to do. So this is the beauty of this particular relationship between a spiritual master and the disciple, and the instructions given and how it is performed. Shantha Gopi, over to Shantha Gopi.
So, Hari Bol, Magyana Timirandasi Jnananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve, Namaha Mugam Karodi Vachalam, Pungum Langaya Kegirim, Yatripa Tamaham Mande, Sri Gurum Dinakaram, Namo Vishnu Padai Krishna, Hari Kutale, Srimati Jayapataka Swami, Acharya Padai, Nitai Krishna, Gaura Padai, Nitai Krishna, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Niti Nami, Namaste Saraswati, Devi Gaurumani, Karani, Nirvisesha Srinyavadi Pasta, Telesi Karani, Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadara Shri Gaura Bhakti, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. As Prabhu was telling that there is a contradictory thing. There is a contradictory statement by Krishna. Like first when Yudhishthira Maharaj and Kunti, Draupadi said spare him because Kripi will feel very bad and she'll cry. So you spare him. And king agreed, Yudhishthira agreed, Nakula agreed, Sahadeva agreed, Arjuna agreed. And of course, Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna agreed. And now Bhima is telling that no, he's an aggressor. Aggressor has to be killed. Then Krishna is agreeing this also. So both he is agreeing, which means that there is some solution. In materially we cannot find, but when one is surrendered in transcendence to the Supreme Lord, to the Guru and Krishna, a common conditioned soul cannot find these ways and means, but that will be revealed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to a sincere disciple, a sincere devotee. So now Arjuna will be revealed what has to be done. Arjuna will do the exact thing where he promised to Draupadi that I will kill Ashwatthama. At the same time, now Krishna is telling that, okay, and then Draupadi again, she is requesting not to kill him. Bhima is telling to kill, and Krishna is telling that you kill, but don't kill him. So how this is going to happen? Here we saw in this verse that Arjuna is slaying, cutting the hair and chudamani, whatever is wearing on the head, all this jewelry. This is a very, very defaming to a Kshatriya, of course. This Ashwatthama was also ruling some kingdom. He was ruling some kingdom. Hare Krishna. He was ruling some kingdom. Despite he was a Brahmana, he is not supposed to rule the kingdom. But he was. You took this. Yeah, and he was ruling the kingdom. That itself is wrong. Actually, there itself he has become Brahma Bandhu. Not just by his heinous act, he is Brahma Bandhu, but he took up the ruling of a kingdom. That time itself, he became a Brahma. He liked the Kshatriya life more than Brahmana life, and father also got it. So he is no more to be considered Brahmana. So cutting off his head, but means cutting off the hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. It is like killing a person. It is mentioned in the scriptures. So for a Kshatriya, cutting that and all are considered to be killing of him. So here, and yet his life was saved for all practical purpose. There is some purpose for which his life was saved. We'll see that how he will be the reason where Bhagavatam appeared. Where he will send the weapon for Uttara's womb, again he will send Brahmastra. He doesn't know how to retract it back, but still he will send. And then Krishna will again save Parikshit and in the womb, and he will save the life of Parikshit. Parikshit will actually die in the fetus. And again the life will be given in order for future use, that Parikshit will be actually asking questions from Sukadeva, and Sukadeva Goswami will be revealing the truth, the transcendental topmost truth of devotional service. this, what is the most devotional service? What is the most rarest thing? Liberation is not rare. Jnana, yoga, karma, nothing is rare. Even a bhakti which is mixed with jnana, karma and yoga is not rare. But a pure devotion to Krishna, kevala bhakti, means not mixed with anything, only devotion. The pure devotion is very, very rare. So, and one more, and Arjuna acted accordingly, because as Prabhu said, he is a surrendered disciple and he knows that Krishna is giving contradictory statements, but it is not contradictory. There is some method in which all these things, everybody can be satisfied. Like his life is spared, at the same time he was almost like killed, where his hair and the jewel in the head is cut off. And he is spared for some future purpose. We don't know what is the future purpose, but Krishna knows everything, past, present, and future. It's known to the Lord. And Arjuna simply acting. Nimitta matram bhava savya sachin. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita that I am the decision maker. I know what has to be done. You become only an instrument in my hand. Nimitta matram. Bhava. Become a nimitta. Just we can say like, his name is also Savya Sachin. Arjuna's name, another name is Savya Sachin. So Savya Sachin, you just become Nimitta Matra, just an instrument in my hand. And in this way, Arjuna was seen to be, Arjuna was the doer, but actually Krishna, what he wanted to execute, he executed through Arjuna. So in this way, when the spiritual master is giving us instruction, in the conditioned state, we also think the spiritual master to be ordinary person. This is one of the primary offense. The 10 offenses to the holy name, the second offense is considering the spiritual master to be an ordinary person, disobeying the order of spiritual master and considering him as an ordinary person. This is actually an offense to the holy name of God. So our Guru Maharaj is very, very careful when giving instructions. Guru Maharaj is very, very careful in giving instructions to the disciples. I will tell some examples how Guru Maharaj never gives direct instruction to the disciple. Even though many disciples want direct instruction, they will ask, Guru Maharaj, give me instruction, give me instruction. Sometimes they even misunderstand that Guru Maharaj will disappear, he is not feeling well. So we have to get some personal instruction, so our life will be, some purpose for our life will be there. In devotional life, we know what to do then, like this. But who knows? Now we are seeing all young people are dying in Corona, before even old people dying. Guru Maharaj, so many of them disappeared. So many of them died in Corona. But Guru Maharaj is still all right. So who will live, who will die? Disciple will die first, or disciple, spiritual master? Not die, spiritual master only disappears. So this kind of misunderstandings are there. We are very much conditioned, and we also think spiritual master to be conditioned. It's an offense. Considering him as an ordinary person, and considering him as an ordinary person, and thinking that he also takes decision like us. Or we know, I know what Guru Maharaj will say. I know what Guru Maharaj. No, certain things we know because we have already gone through that episode. We have gone through that. Maybe we personally underwent that experience that Guru Maharaj does like certain processes a certain way. But it's not that every instruction he will do that. So one time I was just noticing, like Vrajeshwar Prabhu also telling, when Guru Maharaj was recently in Chennai, and Gopi Prabhu always, Gopi Prabhu, one of the servants, okay, he will always repeat. He will repeat very nicely. He will call people's name. And so, but for Gopi Prabhu had given the service to some local devotees so that they also get some mercy of service. So they were doing everyday repetition and all. So, but someday Guru Maharaj wants Gopi Prabhu to do. So he will not turn back and say that, okay, you do today. He will never say like that. Are you going to try? Are you going to repeat today? Are you going to repeat my class today? Will you repeat my class today? It will be only a question. It will never be an instruction. Have you read Bhagavad Gita? It will be only question. It will not be like you read Bhagavad Gita, because the disciple, he doesn't read Bhagavad Gita despite Guru says so, and then the disciple's spiritual life will come down. because he has disobeyed the order of spiritual master. So Guru Maharaj is so very careful in every second, every minute, the progress of the disciple. How the disciple will progress spiritually and without any hindrance, without any offense. He is protecting, he is praying every day to Narasimhadev, the disciples should be safeguarded from offenses, would progress very nicely in spiritual life every single day to shelter disciples, aspiring disciples, well-wishers, disciples, Brahmana initiated disciples. Every day he is praying to Narasimhadev. In this way, the spiritual master is very perfect in nature, and when he gives some instructions, sometimes he cannot understand, or sometimes what we will expect is, we will expect a certain answer for a certain question. So I'll ask Guru Maharaj this, or I'll tell Guru Maharaj this. You don't want to ask, you just want to tell, which actually means you want to execute your own ideas only. So better don't go to him, just execute only. So if you go to him, then Guru Maharaj may give some instruction, which may not be what you have thought of, but still you need to do that. Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chittate Koriya Aikya Arana Koriyo Maneyasha. Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chittate Koriya Aikya Arana Koriyo Maneyasha. Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janarabam. We are all fallen souls, we are all Adama. But Uttama Bhakta, Uttama Adhikari Bhakta, pure devotee, spiritual master, will always, is very much of Kripa, Karuna. And he will see to that we are progressing in spiritual life. So when we go to the spiritual master and we ask a question, when Guru Maharaj gives an answer or Guru Maharaj gives an instruction, we just need to take it to the heart and we have to execute. If we don't do it, we deviate even a little bit, you will have so much frustration. You will have so much frustration and so much irritation, and because it is an offense. It's an offense. So best is just to do what he says. Guru says and you Guru says and you just do. That's as simple as that. Don't speculate, don't think my intelligence is great. I will choose my spiritual master. I will keep all the spiritual masters in front of me. I will hear one person's lecture. One lecture, how many lectures can you hear? And I will judge who is going to be my spiritual master. They are making me hear the lecture of all the spiritual master, and I choose my spiritual master. With our own conditioned intelligence. Intelligence also belongs to body, Baba. You have taken many lifetimes. How can you choose? How can a blind person, how can he show Rasta? How can he know clearly? We are very blind, and spiritual master is come. Ajnana Timirandasi Jnananjana Shalakaya. He can blind person, he can open the eye. And with the blind intelligence, you want to choose spiritual master? What kind of process is that? I was commenting because somebody was telling, I have to choose spiritual masters, and I compared all of them. I heard all their lectures. Then I asked, is it like Swayamvar, that you're the Rani, you're the princess, and you're having a Varmala, and you'll make all the sannyasis and initiating spiritual masters stand in front of you and you will choose? It's such an offense. And the fool doesn't even know it's an offense. And the fool is feeling so great about it and so proud about it. Itna ahankara hai uska. They don't know that such a great offense they are doing. Krishna shows spiritual master. Scriptures mention, Rupa Goswami is mentioned that Krishna shows spiritual master. Nectar of devotion you take, nectar of instruction you take. Krishna's Uttama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Kanishta Adhikari is mentioned. And we go, some Madhyama Adhikari, some Kanishta Adhikari claims himself to be Madhyama Adhikari or Uttama Adhikari. And they establish these kind of processes, which are very offensive in nature. Krishna will show the Guru. And you just need to go by heart. You just know to go. Adav Shraddha. The faith is the first. Then comes Sadhu Sangha. Next comes Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya, then chanting, everything. So Krishna shows the Guru whom we need to surrender to, we should take initiation from. Krishna gives Guru. And then when we surrender to the spiritual Tatvidi Pranipatena, Pariprashnena Sevaya, Upadekshanti Jnanam, Jnaninas Tattva Darshana. Tattva Darshana Guru, the person, the Supreme Lord has Tattva Darshana. He has seen the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has seen what is devotional service. that spiritual master will award you. Will award you with the transcendental knowledge. So we should be very, very careful that am I every minute, every second, because we are in the conditioned state, again and again we tend to forget how spiritual master is our well-wisher, how he is always thinking for our spiritual upliftment, and whatever path he is showing is always progressive in nature, that we are not knowing, that we are forgetting, tending to forget now and then, and all frustration, all inauspiciousness come at that time. Then we understand we have done some really big offense. And then we immediately, so again and again, this is the difference between liberated soul and conditioned soul. The conditioned soul will again and again tend to forget, but a liberated soul will constantly remember. So Guru can take us into a liberated state. Why liberated state? Into a prema state. We should invest our faith on him, in his words, and just follow. Like Arjuna, he did that. He spared the life of Ashwatthama. He understood what instruction Krishna is giving is final for Arjuna. He didn't do what Draupadi said. He didn't spare Ashwatthama's life. He didn't do what Bhima said. He didn't kill Ashwatthama. Krishna said that do something in between. And he just did that immediately. He cut what in scriptures he was thinking. What is equal to death? For a Kshatriya, killing, cutting all the hair and also the jewel from the hair, all these things are considered very defaming and very low grade, like an animal.
Haribol, I made you host.
No, I'm finishing. Okay, so the Om Tat Sat, that's it.
Hey, no, not like that.
No, really, I finished. Thank you very much. Haribol. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Because I wind up and we have to move to Sylhet. Today is our travel day.
Haribol. I also want to show you something. Show everybody. Yesterday
evening, Guru Maharaj asked when Shantha Gopi is coming to Sylhet. So I told waiting for Visa Guru Maharaj due to Muharram, one day is more delayed. So the next day she will start as soon as the visa comes, and probably 13th or 14th she will come. We said okay. Yeah, you have anything to say?
Very good. Yes, you can see the video. You stop screen share. Stop the screen.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing. Yeah.
Guess where we are?
Wow, you are at Madan Gopal temple.
Yes.
Hi, very nice, very nice.
They're cleaning the altar. So
wow,
show you
superb.
One second, you go and
in Mayapur, in Shrimantadi Madan Gopal ki jai, Sachi Mata ki jai, Neelambar Chakravarti ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai.
So nice, thank you.
Neelambar Chakravarti ki jai.
This is Neelambar Chakravarti and this is Madan Gopal. Haribol, Jai Madan Gopal. Super. Thank you. This is Sachi Mata.
Haribol. Hare Krishna. Maybe
Haribol.
they cannot hear. Switch on. They can hear, but only we cannot hear. Okay, Haribol. Thank you very much. Madan Gopal ki
Thank you very much, Madan Gopal ki jai.
Sumandar ki jai. Sachi Mata ki jai.
Jai.
Neelambar Chakravarti ki jai.
Jai.
Very beautiful, very nicely decorated. Devotees are serving very nicely.
Yes.
Okay, ma. Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
That's it from
Hare
us. Signing off
Krishna.
from Mayapur. Haribol.
Haribol. Jai.
You can find us.
So, anybody has any questions, comments, or realization? 5, 4, 3.
हरे कृष्णा
2.
प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
इसमें
बोलिए।
ब्रह्म बंधु या ब्राह्मण के निकम्मे पुत्र के रूप में अश्वत्थामा बाध्य नहीं था। एक तरफ यहाँ दे रहा है कि मनु द्वारा निर्दिष्ट मत के अनुसार आतताई यद्यपि वह ब्राह्मण ही क्यों न हो वध्य होता है। तो एक तरफ कहा जा रहा है कि ब्राह्मण की हत्या नहीं करनी चाहिए और दूसरे तरफ कहा जा रहा है कि अगर वह आतताई हो तो उसे मारना चाहिए। तो अश्वत्थामा तो ब्राह्मण का पुत्र था। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
हाँ, हरे कृष्णा, प्लीज टेल मी। बोलिए प्रभु।
ये बोल रहे थे कि ब्राह्मण के पुत्र की हत्या नहीं करनी चाहिए, एक तरफ दिया हुआ है, और
हाँ
फिर
हाँ
दिया हुआ है कि अगर वो आतताई हो तो उसकी हत्या, उसको मार देना चाहिए, इसमें दिया हुआ है। तो
हाँ हाँ
अश्वत्थामा जो है वो गुरु द्रोणाचार्य का पुत्र था, तो वो तो ब्राह्मण था।
हाँ, उसीलिए उसको हत्या नहीं किया है, उसके बदले उसको इतना अपमान दिया है। अपमान, वो अपमान है, वो मारने का समान है।
अच्छा,
हाँ, वो मारने का समान है, इसीलिए उसको छोड़ दिया, जिंदा छोड़ दिया। बट उसको चूड़ामणि होगा, वो राजा लोग को चूड़ामणि निकलना और उसका हेड को शेव करना, मुंडन डालना, ये बहुत अपमान है राजा को। ये जानवर की तरह कर देगा उसको। सो कोई उसको रेस्पेक्ट नहीं देगा। ये शास्त्र में लिखा है, एक राजा को ये चूड़ामणि निकालना है और उसका मुंडन करना है, ये तो बहुत खतरनाक है, ये मरने का समान है। सो अर्जुन ने उसको जिंदा छोड़ दिया, बट ये अपमान कर छोड़ा। सो
धन्यवाद।
उसका हाँ, धन्यवाद, हरे कृष्ण। ओके,
तो ये उसका मृत्यु दंड से भी अधिक हो गया। ओके, थैंक यू। 5 4 3 2 1 0. Thank you very much for the association. So we'll start tomorrow morning at 5 as per Indian time with the congregation signing of the holy name followed by Srimad Bhagavatam class. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
जय
The Bound Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
The Bound Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai.
जय
Bhagavad Satsang ki jai.
जय
पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
नमो नमः।